So let us start. Let us start with the core concepts, the core principles and the concepts. So there are 4 principles of value-based healthcare, and there are 8 core concepts. These 4 principles of healthcare are basically to say, if you are implementing value-based healthcare, everything you do, please make sure that it supports these 4 principles and certainly not damages those principles. So that is something that you can use as a yardstick to say what I'm doing here, what the idea is. Am I improving? Am I helping fulfill these principles, or am I basically damaging one of these principles? And that we've known now after 12, 13 years of implementation. If you damage those, you will not be successful at implementing value-based healthcare. You may get frustrated, but if you understand these principles and you work with them and you let it grow over time in this journey, you will get this reinforcing process and the strengthening process of implementing value-based healthcare. The 8 core concepts are derived largely from Michael Porter's and Elizabeth Teisberg's original book. The improvements in terms of cases that have been made over time, and so that has become even richer. But it's fair to say that everything that was already in the 2006 books holds today, and we assume will hold at least for the next decade in terms of how the core concepts should work. Now, on the 4 principles of value-based healthcare, there are 4 principles, and they're not rocket science. They're not very hard. But what the key thing is that to implement value-based healthcare correctly and sustainably over time, you want to make sure that you abide by these principles, that you implement in such a way that it will become stronger and that you certainly won't violate. Principle number 1 is the value of healthcare is created in the interaction between patients and families, or the social structure, and doctors and teams. So it's the interaction that creates the value. Now, if the interaction creates the value, then of course it's wise to organize out of that interaction. And needless to say that healthcare systems traditionally, and hospitals and healthcare processes, have not been organized out of that interaction. They have been organized out of a structure, or they have been organized out of a discipline, or they may have been organized about process. They're all very relevant, but that treats the interaction as a black box. But the real value is created in this interaction. So everything we do should make sure that its interaction that's creating the value is improving and is improved, and not second guess doctors, or not treat that as a black box. That is where the real value is. Secondly, you need to measure patient value. You need to understand what is the change in the patient relevant medical outcomes for that patient and for that stratification of patients. And we need to measure carefully over time what are the costs of the activities that we do to get these patients to getting these outcomes. If we don't measure outcomes, if we don't measure the costs over the full cycle of care, then there's no way that we can manage delivery of care in any sensible way. How would we know, or have at least an understanding of what we do, how that would contribute to a medical or a quality of life outcome? We don't. We know in healthcare that we need many activities sequentially and well organized one after the other to get to the outcomes. So if we only focus on one activity and have an outcome measure which is only for that activity, that doesn't allow us to manage or to pay or to improve anything. So we need to be very clear on what is the outcome measure, what's the cost measure, what are the activities that we need to do.
Would you like to become a value-based healthcare expert and be recognized for your expertise? Follow the Value-Based Healthcare Greenbelt track. During the sessions, you will be trained to become a certified Value-Based Healthcare Greenbelt. Sign up now and distinguish yourself from others. Visit our website for more information.